The topic before this House is that atheists are wrong. The first speaker for the affirmative is the Most Reverend Peter Jensen. He's joined by Dr. Tracy Rowland. Scott Stevens is the Religion and Ethics Editor for ABC Online. Would you please join with me in welcoming the speakers for the affirmative? Leading the case for the negative is Dr. Thomas Pataki. He's joined by Jane Currow. And last but not least, Russell Blackford. Would you please join with me in welcoming the negative? I now call upon the Most Reverend Peter Jensen to address this House with the opening arguments in the affirmative for the proposition that atheists are wrong.
I have an atheistic mind and an atheistic heart. First, I am sceptical of the existence of all gods, except one. Second, my own desire for personal freedom means that I would prefer not to worship a God who created all things and will judge all things. In talking about God, neutrality is impossible, too much is at stake. My problem with many contemporary atheists is that they seem to me like flat earthers. Thus, it is not with evolution as science that I have a problem, it is with evolution as an idolatrous explanation of all things. I would say it's no good for them to say, you believe because you need a father, pat on the head. I could equally say, you don't believe because you're frightened, there is a father. And when atheists refuse to study Jesus seriously, they are flat earthing. The good news for atheistically minded people like me is this: you're almost right. Move forward, trust in the one true God who speaks to you, and enjoy your life.
Thomas Pataki.
I've been listening fairly carefully to the Archbishop's homily. When it is claimed that some entity exists, the onus is on the claimant to provide evidence or arguments for the entity's existence. That's a basic postulate without which we could not reason. Of course, some people like the idea of mystery, of leaping like Kierkegaard into the absurd, of ungrounded faith. But then a consequence of this attitude to God, a being about which we know less than about anything, is that invoking it explains nothing. From the point of view of credibility, all of these religions are on the same level. The epistemological basis is the same. They are incompatible. Given that they are incompatible and on the same level, there's only one option: to ditch all the religions.
Tracy Rowland.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. With the new atheists, the debate about God has become a debate about what it means to be human. And I believe that the atheists are wrong because their accounts of love and of reason, of human rationality, are so emaciated it's impossible to defend human dignity by any reference to them. It was, however, one of the achievements of Christianity to liberate people from the fear of fate by offering them a revolutionary new concept of the person as a creature with a free will and a rational intellect. The atheists are wrong because human life, human love and human reason cannot possibly be that meaningless. Thank you.
Jane Currow.
The prima facie evidence that all gods are man-made is, of course, their treatment of women. The idea that women are fully human is something that man-made religions seem to struggle with. Conveniently for the blokes who invented them, gods of all kinds are entirely happy to see one half of humanity held in subjection to the other half. In theocracies, we still watch gods deny women and girls the right to work, travel, drive, get access to healthcare, or even walk the streets unaccompanied. Women's lives only began to improve in the West when feminism emerged, thanks to the secular Enlightenment. To be fair, as women have made gains in the secular and developed world, many religious believers and leaders have changed their opinions and been persuaded about the universal benefit of female equality and opportunity. However, it is no coincidence that societies where women enjoy high levels of personal freedom are the richest and most stable in the world. We now understand that when you educate women and girls, the benefits accrue to the entire family. The fact that gods and women appear to be so firmly in opposite corners is yet another indication to me that gods are all about men. For me, however, it is not just the gross history of religion's treatment of women that informs my atheism. After all, why hasn't the Dalai Lama ever been reincarnated as a girl?
Scott Stevens.
Good evening. And alas, ladies and gentlemen, there are few things today that are quite as fashionable as atheism. In particular, the vulgar sensationalist style of the so-called new atheism decried by so many atheists lends itself especially well to the spirit of our age and poses little, if any, serious challenge to our most serious moral and social ills. Our real problem today is the impoverishment of our moral imaginations, our inability to think properly about such elevated things as good, beauty, truth, law, love, life, death, freedom, humanity, the end or purpose of things, even sex itself, without these ideas being debased by a pointless, listless, all-pervasive nihilism. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, my proposal tonight, my argument is that atheism today is but a symptom, a powerful one, but it is a symptom nonetheless. It's a symptom of an all-pervasive nihilism. Ladies and gentlemen, my final point is that we may well be unwilling, and I certainly am, to claim that one cannot be good without God, but there is one thing for damn sure. Without God, there is no good. Thank you.
Russell Blackford.
Ladies and gentlemen, religion is something that is man-made. Christianity has a long record of persecution, of anti-intellectualism, of cruelty, and indeed of misogyny. Why do we see so much of so many kinds of excruciating pain, suffering, misery in this world if it's a world in the charge of an all-good, all-powerful God of love? Some of you may have come along tonight not thinking of yourselves as atheists, but you're with me because you go that one God further and you don't actually believe in a God, but you don't call yourself an atheist, right? Now maybe that's because you think atheism does not really kind of reflect your full values or your full philosophy of life. Unless such an argument has been put, you cannot, in good conscience, support this motion that atheists are wrong, even if you want to go one bit of philosophy further and call yourself a humanist or something. The central question, can it be demonstrated that any gods exist? Ladies and gentlemen, that simply has not been demonstrated tonight. Not one argument has been put in any concerted way to deal with that. And in fact, it seems that our friends on the other side have lost all faith in those traditional arguments. Thank you very much.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your participation in this important debate, which I now declare closed.